9, an unbalanced force of 40. So unbalanced force or net force, right? So there's a net force of 40 newtons. Keeps a 5 kilogram object, so the mass of the object is 5 kilograms. Keeps it traveling in a circle. So we're dealing with centripetal motion. And it's the circle of radius 2 meters. So the radius of the circle that it's traveling in is 2 meters, and they want to know the speed of the object. So there is a formula that, well, first of all, we have Newton's law, right? We can always write F net equals ma. But what's the a? In this case, it's a special acceleration that we're talking about. It's centripetal acceleration, because this is centripetal motion. And you'll also find on your equation sheet, centripetal acceleration is equal to velocity squared divided by the radius. So if we now make the substitution into F equals ma for AC, so wherever I see AC, I'm going to write v squared over r. So now we get F equals m v squared over r. And we know F, and we know m, and we know r. So the only thing we don't know is v, which is the velocity, which is the vector version of the speed. So we're not worried about the direction, so we can just solve for the velocity and we'll get the magnitude of the velocity, which is the speed, and we don't care about the direction. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You can make the substitutions now, put the numbers in, and then solve for v, which most students prefer to do. But I highly recommend working out the algebra first using the symbols that you have, and then make the substitutions once you have the quantity you're looking for by itself. So my preference would be to multiply both sides by r. So you'll get Fr equals mv squared. Now divide both sides by m. So you get Fr over m equals v squared. And now take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to go up here. We have v equals Fr over m. And we need to take the square root of that whole thing. Okay, so now we'll plug the numbers in. We have 40 newtons times the radius, which is 2 meters, divided by the mass, which is 5 kilograms. And we have to take the square root of all that. So 40 times 2 is 80, divided by 5 is 16. V equals square root of 16, which is 4. And you'll have to trust me, the units come out to be meters per second, which is the speed. So the answer is 4. You don't have to trust me. You can work those units out on your own. What is a newton? A newton is a kilogram meter per second squared, right? And that's being multiplied times meters. So I'll make this meters squared. And then it's being divided by kilograms. Right? So this whole thing is in the numerator. So kilograms cancels with kilograms, and then you have meters squared per second squared. And then you're taking the square root of that. So the square root of meters squared per second squared is just meters per second. So the units do work. And you can always do that. Sometimes I show the units, sometimes I won't. It depends on your level of confidence. A lot of times if you don't remember a formula or you can't figure it out, units can be the way that you figure out what it needs to be. So I wouldn't abandon the units. It's a great way to check. And this one again is 4 meters per second.